I turn 28 tomorrow, and part of me is so terrified of aging. Like, you have no idea. Oh my gosh. Every year before my birthday, I start this like countdown, this doomsday countdown in my head where I think to myself, okay, I have 7 more days of being 27. Okay, I have 6 more days of being 27. 5 more days. And I'm like clinging on to my current age for dear life as if on December 25th, my age is going to change and all of a sudden I'm going to die or something. And I've come to realize that this is my own internalized crap that I've learned about aging, and that's made me scared to age. So I wanted to make this episode for a really long time. I actually recorded two other versions of this and never ended up posting them. I recorded one in probably April of this year, April 2025, and then another one in October. And I was editing that October episode and it was pissing me off. It was really pissing me off. So I'm like, I'm going to re record this. Well, actually, that was one reason. The other reason was because I put a story on Instagram, maybe, I guess it was earlier this month. It was at the beginning of December, where I said, it's December, I'm turning 28 this month, but I'm so scared of aging. Please tell me something that will help me change my perspective. And I got so many messages from you baddies, and I really, really appreciated it. If you messaged me, shout out to you. I responded to your message and I read it, I listened, and it really actually helped me. I didn't expect it to be this helpful. I just was like, let me post a story out into the world and see what people say, because odds are someone's going to say something useful. But oh my God, the responses I got were amazing. Every day I get a response or a comment or a message from one of you ladies, and I'm like, damn, I literally have the smartest followers ever. I'm not even kidding. So, and actually the post I made about, what was it? I made a post probably at the time of recording, it was 2.5, 3 weeks ago, where I asked, what's your theory on why there are so many women who follow religions, especially how research has found that women are more religious than men, despite religions being patriarchal? And the responses I got there were so interesting. Like, you need to be a critical thinker. You need to know a thing or two about a thing or two to be able to provide the comments that you ladies did. And it was crazy. I'm like, at that point, I was like, wow, wow. Like, brick by brick, I built this community, and everyone here is so smart and pretty and like intelligent. It just, it made me so happy. Anyway, where was I? Yeah. So the messages I got from a lot of you about how you've changed your perspective on aging, or how you're in your 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s. I had women from every decade of their lives messaging me, sharing some insight. And let me tell you, reading those messages did something for me. I'm not even kidding. So I'm really grateful for to everybody who messaged me. And one message stuck out to me in particular. One of you baddies said that you surround yourself with a lot of baddies in their 40s. I think the person who messaged me was in her 30s or late 20s, so around my age. And she said that having friends who are in their 40s, who are women who've figured a lot of things out, who are just the embodiment of a bad bitch, has really helped her, because it shows that you just get better with age. And I love that because I have a friend in her 40s. I sound like one of those people who are like, I have a black friend, so I'm not racist. I have a friend from Wakanda, so I can't be racist. But no, I have a lot of my friends are in their 20s and early to mid 30s. But I do have one friend who's in her 40s, and she's, honestly, I can say she's the baddest bitch I know, aside from myself. Sorry to any of my friends who are listening to this who aren't her, but she's actually such a baddie. So that message that you sent me, shout out to you if you're listening, really resonated with me because it showed me how being in your 20s, this is why am I starting? This isn't even my final form. I say this all the time, but I didn't even realize it in terms of my age. This isn't my final form. And a lot of my friends who are older than me and who I've known for years, who I've seen them in their late 20s, for example, and now they're in their mid 30s. Seeing their progression has been so amazing because they just get better. Their life gets better, their income gets higher, their living situation gets better. They go from their condo to their new house, and it's just they get promotions, and I can just see it's literal tangible evidence that these women are just leveling up in their lives, in every aspect of their lives. So I think I really have internalized patriarchy that's making me afraid of aging and making me uncomfortable when I get around the time of my birthday, because in my mind, I've equated youth with value and with beauty, even though that's not true. I feel like it's not true. When I say it out loud, it sounds stupid, but there's a part of me that believes it. There's a part of me that believes it because there's no way every year when I get around my birthday, I start having this doomsday countdown. So part of me thinks that it's true. Like that feeling of dread and impending doom is evidence to me that there's still some internalized patriarchy living in my head and making me afraid of aging. So I still have to validate myself, and like even though when I say it out loud, I'm like, this sounds so stupid. Like beauty doesn't fade with age. If anything, everything gets better with age, as I've seen with my friends and my family and my mom and my aunts and the women around me. But I need to unlearn this part. And I know I come on here every week. I talk about things we have to unlearn. I also talk about things we have to learn. And I know that you ladies listen, you tune in every week and you learn things. And from the messages you've sent me, it seems like my podcast is helping you in your life. So now I want to turn to you ladies and ask you for your help and your input. And from the messages that I got, I can see you have so much wisdom and knowledge and experience and interesting perspectives and insights that I value, and that's helped me. So again, like I say all the time, I've never had an original experience in my life. So if I'm feeling this way, so are millions of other women, and we should keep the conversation going so that other women can also benefit from the wisdom that you have to share. And it's gotten me thinking a lot lately because as a society, it's like a double-edged. So I was about to say double-ended, and that would have meant something else. It's like a double-edged sword. Or maybe it is like a double-ended dildo. But on one hand, we revere older women because they have knowledge and wisdom and life experiences that younger women don't have yet. On the other hand, we brush off older women, especially elderly women, and we say, oh, well, what does she know? She's an old lady. She's senile. She's blah, blah, blah. And we treat elderly people as not having anything valuable to share. They've expired. They're beyond their time. They don't have anything new or fresh to provide. And there's so much crap at play here because Leonardo DiCaprio comes to mind. Because the thing is, older women are a threat to a lot of losers, to men who want to manipulate us and people who want to take advantage of us. An older woman, and when I say older, I'm talking about it relative to me. Let's just say 30 and above. Not that you are objectively old, but you are older than me. So older women are seen as a threat because they know a thing or two about a thing or two. They have developed frontal lobes, fully developed frontal lobes. They have a lot of information and data about the world that makes them more critical thinkers. That makes them more likely to stand up for themselves and have boundaries and not let anybody walk over them. And that's a threat to buffoons and idiots who want to take advantage of us. And I notice this a lot with my own content because I tend to get a lot of hate comments. A lot of my stuff that's gone viral, that I've gotten millions of views, have been partly thanks to losers and incels and people with receding hairlines. And it's great because they help push out those videos even more. But it makes me think that these hate comments would not have been as prevalent if I were older. If I were, say, a 45-year-old woman making these videos, I feel like people wouldn't comment as much hate because they don't think I can be as easily influenced. There are lots of other women out there who make videos and content, YouTube videos, podcasts, all sorts of content in all sorts of different media that are very similar to mine, that have similar themes. It seems like a lot of these women don't tend to get as much hate as I do. I'm not trying to be like, woe is me, oh my God, blah, blah, blah. But it just seems that way. And if I'm correct in this observation, my hypothesis is that people feel like they can spew out hate. People feel like they can try to give me unsolicited advice, their unsolicited 2 cents, which is actually zero point 0.5 cents adjusted for inflation. They feel more comfortable saying these things because I am younger. They think that I can be influenced by what they say because I'm not an older woman who's had as much wisdom or life experience. So that makes me really happy because if I'm doing something that pisses people off and, it pisses them off to the point where they have to engage with me and try to put me down, then I've done something right. Every angry man is a testimonial to the power of what I am sharing. But bringing it back to age, again, everything that people do in terms of putting down younger women or brushing off older women, it goes back to this underlying fact that the older you get, the more secure you tend to become in yourself. So there's just so much projection. Remember, I say this all the time. Beneath all the crap that people spew out is a projection. There's always a projection down there. So I really want to unlearn. I think I've unlearned a lot since I put out that story and read a lot of your messages. And that's one of the reasons I wanted to re-record this episode, because the one I recorded in October, I felt more scared of aging than I did now. But I still have some unlearning to do to especially get comfortable leaving my 20s. Because I feel like I've almost fetishized being in my 20s. Again, from the things that I've been told or taught or seen in, especially in media, your 20s are when you peak. And I know that's fucking garbage. I know that's literal, like that was literally pulled out of someone's butt crack. Like there's so many things that just are starting to happen when you're in your 20s. But I've always been an earlier bloomer than others around me. I'm born on December 25th. I've always been the youngest. I've always been the youngest in all my classes at school. I started university when I was 18 or 17. I can't remember. I got my master's degree before I was 25. I moved out of my parents' house before I was 25. I did everything kind of early. And I'm really proud of myself for doing all of these things. I quit a 6-figure corporate job in my 20s to start my own thing, to start my own business and put myself out there in the world. So I'm proud of myself. I really want to commend myself for doing these things because these are not easy things to do. These are not things that some people do in even their 30s or 40s or 50s. So I'm really proud of myself. I have a lot to learn. I have a lot to learn from you ladies who listen in every week. And I have a lot to learn from other women around me. Every time I spend an hour or two with my grandma, I feel like I get smarter because she has so much wisdom to share. So just connecting with women makes me smarter. Like what I was talking about in my episode on gossip from last week, women talking to each other increases collective intelligence because women are keepers of knowledge. Women are the ones who are so in tune with everything, not just with themselves, but with the people around them. And as super connectors, like as social super connectors, we're able to do so much. We're able to do so much just by opening our mouths and speaking to one another. So that's the reason I started this podcast. That's the reason I like to do episodes like this, because I feel like it's a more relaxed, I don't have a script. I don't have an outline. I don't have anything. I'm just coming at you. It's just you and me together. And every week it's usually me speaking to you. But now I want you to speak to me and you to share something about your experiences that you think could help me and could help other women who are going to read the comments and who have a similar mindset that I do. I told you, it's this leaving my 20s that scares me. But life beyond your 20s is like your life has just started in your 20s. I know this. I've seen this. I understand this, but I don't fully understand it yet. And maybe it's just one of those things that I need to experience. And I think I need to watch Sex in the City. But I feel like we need to romanticize women in their 30s and beyond, because I don't see that enough. And I think if not just me, but other women in their 20s or even women younger than that, girls who are teenagers, if they were to see that and start to romanticize being in your 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, like romanticizing all these other decades besides just the fucking 20s, the roaring 20s, a lot of that fear will go away, because this fear is taught. I wasn't born with a fear of aging. I wasn't born romanticizing or fetishizing being in my 20s. I was taught that. I saw that in media. I saw that in wherever buttcrack other medium that I've engaged with. And you know what really harmed my sense of self? I have a 13-year-old cousin who called me old a few weeks ago. She called me old. I'd never in my life been called old because I'm always the youngest in my groups, my classes. I've always been the youngest. So to be called old kind of stung. Like, how dare you call me old? But then she comes to me for advice. She comes to me to tell me about boys and girls who bully her, all that sort of stuff, and I help her out. So in the same way that I go to my mom or my grandma or even one of my friends who are a bit older than me for some kind of insight that I'm looking for, she comes to me with that. And that is an honor. That is an honor that I've passed through that life stage that she had. I've gained experience. I've gained wisdom from being there. And now I'm here and I'm able to share that with her. And I can tell every time that I talk to her about something and I help her out with an issue she might be having with a girl at school or with a boy or whatever, I can visibly see it. Like she feels relieved. She feels like I provided something of value, and that helps her. I hope it does. And it also helps me because I feel like I helped her. I contributed to her life in a sort of way, even if it's a small way of how to talk to a girl who might be bothering her at school. And I want to explore this more in my episodes in 2026. I'm reading the book called Eve that a lot of you have recommended to me. Shout out to all of you baddies who recommended this book, Eve. And the subtitle is, I think, how the female body drove 200 million years of human evolution. And I think the author's name is Kat Bohannon, if I'm remembering and pronouncing it correctly. But a lot of you have recommended that book to me, and one of you actually sent me a reel of this speaker, this man. I don't know who he was, but it was a reel of this man talking during a lecture about the role of menopause and how not every species has menopause, and there's a function to that because there's a role that grandmothers play in society. And that guy, I read the comments, that guy actually stole that idea from Kat Bohannon, who wrote Eve. So I'm like, you know what? It's time to get this book. I've heard everybody recommending it. I've heard great things about it. It's great. It's huge. And so when I went to the library to get the love languages book for my episode next week, where I'm going to fucking tear apart the 5 love languages, I got that book too. So I got a wackadoodle book and I got a really good book. So I want to explore menopause, grandmothers, the role of women, in their 40s, 50s, 60s and beyond in my content in 2026. I really want to look at matriarchal, the return to matriarchal dynamics. I'm thinking out loud now, but I really want to explore those things more. So I'm really, really excited to get into that. And this episode, I'm going to end it now because this was just meant to be an informal episode. A little, like, I'm glitching again. A little bit of a break from my previous episodes, which are all very structured and, the different styles of episodes I like to do. That's what makes my podcast one of one, because you never know what you're going to get into when you hit play. You never know. But sometimes we need a little bit more informal chit chat type episodes like this, because I want you to see all sides of me. And this every week is me being authentic. Like, I'm not pretending to be somebody else. I don't have my customer service voice on. You're always hearing from me, from Neeki, and sometimes from Nika Farrell, but you're always hearing from me. I love doing these episodes because I have no outline, I have no script, I just have a topic, and I just come on here and talk to you one-on-one, just me and you, just us girls, to just share something that's been on my mind. And when I did this last time in my episode called I Haven't Been Feeling Like Myself Lately, which I dropped in September, that was cathartic for me. I'm not even kidding. I came back from the gym, fully clothed in my sweaty gym clothes, sat down on my bedroom floor, took out my mic, and recorded that episode. I didn't do a video recording of that. It was audio only. But I felt so much better after that episode. And I'm still getting comments from you ladies listening in on that episode and sharing your insights. So when I open it up to you baddies to share your, I don't want to say 2 cents because it's worth more than that, to share your your $2, I always value it so much because you all have so much insight to share with me. So even now, just sitting here and talking about this by myself to myself, not having posted it yet, I already feel better. I always feel better when I'm connecting with the girls, let's be real. That's part of what I want to do. I'm not an influencer. Remember that. I hate being called an influencer because influencers to me are so disingenuine. They're not authentic. They're literally there to influence you to buy things. They're just puppets of capitalism and consumerism, in my not humble opinion, because who's humble around here? Not me. So I'm not an influencer. If anything, I am a de-influencer. I want to de-influence you from a lot of the crap that we've all been taught. And at the end of the day, I like to think of myself as a philosopher. That is what I am. Okay, that I'm a philosopher. Fucking put some respect on my motherfucking name. So now that I'm beginning to glitch, I'm going to end this episode here. I hope this did something for you in some way, shape, or form. Maybe you feel less alone. Maybe you feel like you saw a different side of me. To use a very stupid corporate term, I hope there was some value add here. What does that mean? Again, nothing, because nothing means anything in the corporate world. So thank you so much for listening. Thank you to anybody who's commented or sent me a DM and shared their perspective. And thank you to anyone who's just listened to this. If you press play and listened to the episode and got to this point, thank you. Honestly, I'm so grateful that each and every one of you are here. I'm so grateful that we have this medium of communication between us and this community. And have an amazing Christmas. Have an amazing holiday. I hope your family doesn't drive you crazy. I hope you eat good food and feel loved by everyone. I hope you get great gifts. And I hope you have an amazing new year. We have one more episode left before the end of the year. But I know some people like to listen to episodes here and there, and you might not listen to it in order. So if this is the last episode you're hearing from me in 2025, I hope you had an amazing year, and I hope you have an even better year in 2026, which you obviously will. You will, I promise you. So it's going to be amazing. All right. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Don't forget that you are the baddest bitch in any building that you step foot in. And until next time, stay bad. Love you. Bye. Thank you to all the baddies who are supporting on Patreon. Shout out to Kate, Danny, Adriana, Mina, Gemma, Priya, Katya, Melissa, May, Naomi, Nilufar, Adelaide, Nadia, Faith, Amy, Simran, Melinda, Bindi, Sophia M, Sophia K, Jada, Yael, Roselle, Amara, Kat, Delia, and May. Thank you all so much.